Greg Swenson is an international affairs expert. He's joining us live from London. Greg, great to see you and welcome to the program. We are seeing an escalation in the war in Ukraine. We're also seeing more civilian infrastructure like restaurants being targeted by Russian forces. This is not a good sign, is it?
No, of course not. It's not a good sign at all. And I suppose we shouldn't be surprised given the activity over the weekend with the failed coup attempt. And it looks like, the Russian military and Putin are responding with more carnage and with more complete disregard for human life and civilians. On maybe a more positive note, the UK Minister of Defense department said that Ukrainian forces have actually retook Krasnohorivka over the weekend, just outside of the eastern city of Donetsk. And so I think, they too are exploiting the chaos of the weekend. The Ukrainians are as well, but they're doing it by traditional, or shall we say at least some kind of military action, following the rules of engagement, the rules of war, the Geneva Conventions, whereas the Russians have completely abandoned any pretense that they have any regard for human life. And this is just another example. And particularly that they chose a restaurant well known to journalists and frequented by journalists. Again, complete disregard for freedom of the press. They've been imprisoned. They've imprisoned a Wall Street Journal, Evan Gersovich, for months now, and without any legitimate charges, obviously. And so this is just another step in towards more chaos, and it's really a shame.
Greg, the attention did briefly turn to the botched Wagner mutiny in the past week, but the conflict in Ukraine continues. What is the impact, or what impact do you think the aborted rebellion had on Ukraine, for instance?
Yeah, if anything, Eric, great question. If anything, it probably emboldens Ukraine. I think it's helped with support around the world, or at least in the West, for Ukraine. And it shows that Putin right now is not an image of strength for Putin. It's really more of an image of a falling empire. And so, these are desperations, or desperate moves made by what looks to be a leader who's worried about his inner circle, who's worried about his own strength and power, but also worried about the outcome of this war. And it looks, if anything, more like Ukraine is doing well and holding up here. That doesn't mean that I would suggest that they keep this, war of attrition going on. I think if anything, I hope that they don't feel like escalation will help their cause. I do think there has to be some compromise at some point. Either way, again, I wouldn't advocate appeasement, but on the other hand, more civilians dying is not what anyone wants to see.
Greg Swenson, thank you very much for talking to WION World is One today.
Thanks, Eric.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.